I'm Hope Witkowsky. Multi-generational living is as old as time itself. This is due to our aging population. Let's take a visit to a family now to get a preview of what multi-generational life is like. Cathy Mono had a real decision to make when her frail 86-year-old mother fell for the second time and broke her arm. Her mother lived miles away, and visiting her became a hardship for Cathy and her family.
We got a phone call on a Wednesday, and by Saturday my mom was living with us. And so my mom's biggest fear has always been she didn't want to be a burden. But I told her the burden for us would be to be stuck in traffic on the freeway heading to El Toloma, with a 911 call for her. That to me, it was so difficult. That I can walk down the hallway every morning with a cup of coffee. We have our little routine. It is so easy. This is not a burden. This is wonderful. And I think I cried the first, every Thanksgiving and Christmas and whatever we pray, and I'd start crying because I was so thankful to have my mom here. And I know that her dream would have been to live in her house and tell, grow old and die in your own home, but it wasn't possible for her. So it couldn't be better. It couldn't be better that she's here and with us.
Cathy's mother, Lillian, was thinking that she was just going to recuperate at her daughter's home. She didn't want to be a burden, but Cathy had other ideas.
Took a real nosedive, let me tell you.
And so, when did you make your decision, or how did you make your decision to come and live in a multi-generational house?
I didn't. Cathy did. It's my time.
So how did she talk to you? What did she say?
She didn't. She just hauled me up because my arm, she had just picked me up from the hospital. And the next day, I went with her, and I knew I'd be coming here for a while to recuperate because I did when I broke this arm. So I was here about a month, right? So something like that. And so I figured this was just, for a while. Didn't turn out that way.
Lillian now permanently lives with her daughter Cathy, son-in-law Mike, and their daughter Christina, making it now a 3-generational household.
I have my room. My dad and my stepmom, they have their room, living room, and Lil has her part of the house, so it's kind of like we all have our separate areas, and you meet up whenever. Like Lil says to me, we're like two ships passing in the night. And that's really how it is. It just kind of works.
And the Monos aren't alone in the way that they've structured their living situations. Studies are now finding that multi-generational living is becoming more and more common. The National Public Radio reported between 2007 and 2009, the total number of Americans living in multi-generation households shot up more than 10%, from 46.5 million to 51.4 million. The Pew Research Center states that this is the highest number in modern history, which doubled in the last generation.
One of the things that's so special for me is that my father passed away before my husband or any of my children, stepchildren. They never met my dad. And they never met my oldest brother because he passed away also 2 years after my dad did. So to have my mom come and live with us and to be received so warmly is so special for me, because it's one thing when you go on holidays and you visit and you do Thanksgiving together, but it's another thing when you live together and you're in that day in, day out, cleaning, cooking, all that. And Mike and Christina are such a blessing to my mom, and vice versa. And I just love that we've been able to experience this, especially since my dad didn't get to be part of this married life of mine.
Mike's daughter, Christina, from a previous marriage, is 24 years old and decided to move back home after losing her full-time job. And living with her parents as well as a grandparent is something Christina welcomes.
I'm actually really open about it, where most of my friends know that I have Lils at my house. And I'll be like, oh, I have to go home real quick. I got to check on Lil. I want to make sure Lil's okay. Or I have to call to make sure, see if she wants food or something like that. So actually, most of my friends know, and I think they think it's cute because when they've met her, they're like, she's a spitfire. She's hilarious. So I embrace it.
Christina finds that living with her grandmother has its perks aside from friendships and companionships. She's learning a lot about life through the eyes of someone 62 years her senior.
I think it's really interesting because I feel like it gives me a really different perspective, being that I'm a young adult and I feel like at 24 you have a lot to learn. So it gives me a lot of range with my dad and my stepmom and then my grandma, my step-grandma, in terms of generations, where I feel like each generation has different perspectives on what they can or ways they can guide me. I think with her, sometimes it's been easier for me to talk to her about certain things than my dad and my stepmom, to where she's able to kind of look at the whole broad picture. And she can give me one sentence and I get it, as opposed to like maybe talking to my dad and it's more of a discussion and so forth. But she just kind of has to say one line and that makes a lot of sense.
Christina isn't the only one benefiting from this living arrangement. Lillian is grateful to her daughter and son-in-law for rearranging their living situations to accommodate her needs. She says that this is a huge blessing. Lillian was moved into the recently remodeled master bedroom suite, which not only gives her a bit more privacy, it gives her the reassurance that she and her cat Mia are not intruding too much on the rest of the family.
The refrigerator is nice, it's good because I can, for as little as I can move, I can help myself rather than have somebody running up and down the hallway always. And, of course, the TV is my lifesaver. I'm with it morning to night.
According to the Pew Research Center, there are many benefits of multi-generational living. Seniors get respite from loneliness. Kids learn history firsthand, and those sandwiched in between get reliable childcare, help with the bills and chores, and a little less squeeze by modern life.
Fortunately for Lillian, being here, she gets excellent care from all of us, but we've all had to adjust. And what's turned out to be somewhat of a scary situation has turned into a real positive for all of us. And a week doesn't go by that Christina or Cathy says, geez, I'm so glad you've been around, because there's been a lot of work to reorganize Lillian's affairs legally, physically, and we've been able to do that. And I've had the time to physically do that, and all the financial arrangements that have been made. And all of us are living better in these unusual times. And I think it's fair to say we all have a better quality of life. And it's been a real plus for everyone.
As the economy continues to take a toll on people's finances, a growing number are discovering that becoming roommates with mom and dad or a 20 or 30-year-old son or daughter may help to ease some of the financial pains, especially during these rough times.
Unfortunately, due to the downturn in the economy, I lost my corporate job. And so I had to retool our household. And it's really worked out with Lillian moving in and combining our resources, living under one roof with her Social Security income and the income from her house, along with reduced income that I'm providing. But we've all worked out. It's been a positive for everybody.
That's one thing that I feel really blessed about, is where I know it's changed now as opposed to, back in the day where when most people were 24, let's say in the 70s, they were able to have their own place and live out and work part-time jobs, where now, just because of the economy, it's not really feasible to have a part-time job and have your own place and be able to afford everything like that and so forth. So I feel very lucky that I'm able to be in here and, like you said, save up money and move forward in my life and not feel stuck with a bunch of debt when I'm 35.
And like any family dynamics, the Monos face their day-to-day challenges, especially with Lillian's physical limitations. But with everyone's help and the willingness to make it work, the benefits far outweigh any struggle they may face.
One thing that is so neat to me, too, is that, yes, we're 4 people in this house, and everyone I've lost a lot of my space. But at night, there's a thing that happens where, maybe Mike is in his office or he's watching TV, and my mom's down the hall and she's got her TV on, and Mia's in there, and Christina's in her room, and the TV's like low, and it feels like little villages. It sounds so funny, but it's just really precious to me, and I know that this isn't going to last forever.
I think just like day to day, I go in there and I'll get her like fresh ice water and stuff, since she's older, so she's more fragile and it's hard for her to get ice cubes out. But that's basically the one thing, is I just go in there and just to say hi to her. And she likes her independence. I think that's what's cool about it, is where we kind of give her that privacy so she doesn't feel like she's a burden, and she still feels independent even though she's at the age that she's at. So I try not to step in too much because she's very independent.
A Torrance elder law attorney, Susan Geffen, says the Monos are on the right track. It's important to make sure that everyone's needs are being met. Independence and privacy is the number one element in successful living together. Geffen also says, while this may be a sensitive topic to discuss with the elderly parents, one of the most important things to do when living together is to seek legal assistance to ensure that the needs and the wants of the senior living at the home are documented.
When you're thinking about planning for your future, which hopefully we will all have, and if you want it to be successful, is to get your documents in order, especially an advanced healthcare directive and a power of attorney for finances. It is single-handedly the most important thing to do. If you do not do that, then you could be subject to a conservatorship, and that is very expensive, and it could become a legal battle that you never thought you would be involved in.
With life expectancies increasing, baby boomers retiring, and pension funds failing, the numbers of families coming together with 3 or more generations are sure to increase, and hopefully become a life-changing positive experience like it has been for the Monos. We saw some new and important steps that we can take to live in harmony well into our senior years. I'm Hope Witkowsky, reminding you that knowledge is a powerful tool. Tune in next time to learn more secrets on successful aging.